Welcome to Preparing for the Unexpected. I'm your host, Alex Fullick, and as always, we like to talk about things related to resilience and business continuity, and lots of other relatable subjects. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. We're going to air some episodes talking about resilience with my guest, Jason Haas. Hi, Jason.
Hey, Alex. Hey, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well.
We wanted to contribute to the BCI World's Business Continuity and Resilience Awareness Week. Unfortunately, all their webinars were full, and we still wanted to do something with them. So we thought we'd record a couple of our own and release them in conjunction with Business Continuity Awareness Week. Thanks to everyone at BCI for the Awareness Week. We're happy to give you this little extra bonus, and please don't hate us or send us any bad emails. We love working with you guys. Welcome back. Today we are talking about personal resilience with Jason Haas. Jason, great 2 segments, and we've got a third one. We're going to talk about enabling and controlling your inner voice. Actually, your inner critic is the word you use.
Right. And this is my favorite one. And this has been informed by the other events, the spouse's alcoholism, the voluntary and involuntary job separations as a business owner. And what's crazy about this, controlling your inner critic to enable a growth mindset, I only recently figured this one out. And it was just this past December of 2023. And what led me to that is my dad suffered a serious injury that ultimately claimed his life. And during that time, I was nominated to manage the conversation and care. Think of it like a project manager for a family's healthcare event. Craziness. I had over 22 pages of notes over 30 days. I learned a lot about power of attorney and other things like that. But during that whole journey is what triggered me is I tried to find new coping mechanisms because this was new to me. I didn't know how to deal with a dying loved one so close. And it really just turned me upside down. My coping mechanisms for alcoholism kind of applied, but not really. My other mechanisms around involuntary and voluntary job separations and things like that, yeah, that didn't apply. This isn't business. This is my dad. A little close to home there. So in this, I discovered Andrew Huberman and a David Goggins conversation. And I'm going to be honest with you. David Goggins is not for everyone, though. Check him out. Dude's intense. But, for me, in that is what I found in that conversation between Andrew Huberman and David Goggins was the idea of that inner critic and growth mindset is that you can control that inner critic, the one that tells you you're not good enough, that you're not capable. For me, it also fuels my imposter syndrome. I still struggle with that, where I feel that somebody's going to find out that, I've been BSing my way through things, which isn't necessarily the case, but that's what my inner critic tells me, that I'm a fraud and I'm not capable. And so that inner critic really doesn't serve me. And I needed to find a way to work through that during my dad's healthcare. I needed to separate myself, as I didn't want to view as a father-son relationship, but me as like a caregiver, making sure that this person's journey is the most comfortable and best that it possibly can be, considering the circumstances. So that's where I learned to embrace the suck, to let go of what you can't control, embrace and hug the things that you can. My dad's outcome was informed by a life of not necessarily taking care of himself, as well as an unfortunate circumstance. He had lost his balance from the house into a connected garage, 2 steps down, took a header right onto concrete. That should paint a picture enough for that. And he eventually succumbed to that. And it was hard. And I also then decided to use this in my own personal health, because in managing my dad's journey to death, I also realized that if I don't make personal decisions and changes for myself, that is exactly my same outcome. My dad was a big dude. The fact that I could fit into his shirts because he got too small for him, so my mom would send them to me, and they were kind of tight on me, scared me to the core of going, I love my dad, but I'm not my dad. I don't want to be that very obese person. I want to be more than that. I want to be around for my kids. I want to be ever present for my wife and my family and professionals. And just being a heavy guy just wasn't ever going to serve me right. It was going to end my life early. So that scared me to the core, which allowed me to connect with the David Goggins and how he can, as he does these amazing physical feats, he talks with himself and works through his adversity and his challenges, that inner critic, and he finds a way to manage through that and sometimes store away those hard things into a cabinet for later on when he's running like a super ultra marathon of like 400 miles straight continuous. It's like, geez, guy, that's not me. Never has been, probably never will be. But what I am is I know how now, listening to that conversation with David Goggins and Andrew Huberman, to tell that inner voice to sit down. Or at DRJ this past spring, oh, why am I blanking her name? Bonnie. Oh, I feel bad, Bonnie. I'm so sorry. Where, she had a very similar
And Bonnie.
conversation. Thank you. Oh my God. I just tagged her today in LinkedIn. I'm so embarrassed. I'm horrible with names. But the phrase of punch it, Margaret, which is again telling that growth mindset to floor it, to go for it. And it's that same idea where it's like, okay, I'm going to also use this in my career. I suffer from imposter syndrome. I don't feel I'm good enough. I don't feel I'm smart enough. And I feel that when I'm found out, my failure will be epic and embarrassing. And so I use that to work through that. So I can go up onto a main stage at DRJ and have a conversation in front of hundreds of people. Terrifying, by the way, and I loved it. Or to go, I need to lose weight. Gosh, when I started my health journey back in December, I was my peak weight, 330 pounds, not a small dude, big guy. And, I just weighed myself this past weekend and it's like, okay, I'm down 40 pounds. Okay, so I'm
Good for
finally
you.
below 300 pounds. I'm at 290. And the goal is to get to my high school weight, which was 225. I've always been a big dude. But I can accept 225 more than I can 330 pounds. So it's like, okay, keep pushing, don't stop. I'm doing the right things. I adopted intermittent fasting because food is my enemy. I'm on the seafood diet. If I see food, I'll eat it. Or into fitness, I'll fit this whole pizza in my mouth. I got all the funny puns and memes around this, but it's kind of the mindset I found myself in, and it's just intermittent fasting. It's just like build the habit. So I fast for 17 hours a day, 5 days a week. I give myself the grace on weekends to enjoy the fruits of life. I'll have that extra chocolate, maybe drink a Diet Coke. I don't fast for 2 more hours. So I'm good right now. But to change that mindset and to restrict things that don't serve me well, and as well as to improve the food I do ingest, even though I have bad habits like soda. But at the same thing, I also have water. So, I'm making an active choice right now. Uh, but to use that to, again, just to tell that inner critic to shut up and sit down. It doesn't serve us. It will never enable us. It hurts us. It holds us back. It could ruin careers. It has for me. And things like that. And I found it's much easier to listen to that growth mindset and do those hard things because it's going to happen. Embracing that suck is invigorating and terrifying at the same time. It's a crazy feeling, just like when I went on to the stage at DRJ, we're back behind the screen and it's like I'm looking at these three people who I looked up to and still look up to. They're gods in my eyes. And I see them all dressed in suit jackets. And here I am in a collared shirt and jeans. I'm like, oh man, I really don't belong. And that inner critic had its chance to punch me, and it did. And I felt nervous when we were called to walk out on the stage and we had our introduction. And as soon as I put my butt in that chair, it's like, all right, inner critic, you're sitting down and you're going to stay quiet because we got work to do. And I use that growth mindset to push through that, to know that this is happening. I can either fail spectacularly in front of many of my peers, or I can go hide in a corner. I chose to allow myself to fail publicly. Not that I failed, but to know that that was an option. And that's okay. So for me, it's all about the growth mindset to change and build good habits, to get rid of the old habits that no longer serve us, to push us into the things that we're uncomfortable with. I'm uncomfortable talking about alcoholism, involuntary and voluntary job separation, how, managing my father's death, which enabled this weird growth mindset in me and gave me a springboard of a platform to go do better. It's an amazing journey, and everyone will have their why. And I encourage everyone to look inside deeply through introspection, reflection, and using all those wonderful emotional intelligence tools to figure out your why. What's holding you back? And then face it head on.
I found years ago what was holding me back was me, like you. We're talking. And then when I started my Buddhist practice, when I was 30, 39, I, after reading and meditating and reading that, it's okay. If you're meditating and you're concentrating on your breath, your voice, inner voice is going to keep coming back and saying all kinds of things. Just accept that it happened and go back to concentrating on your breathing again. It's okay if it happens. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it over and over again. And I found myself becoming a little bit stronger mentally when I was faced with challenges, because that inner voice, I was able to start, telling it to shut up for a while, go away. And I could concentrate better. And it works. And all these years later, I like you, I can get on that stage now and I can talk and I feel fine. I don't, yourself, you're comfortable, with, a collared shirt and jeans. I thought I had to wear a suit and get up there. And I went, but that's not me. I don't like wearing a suit. So I said, well, why should I let other people influence who I am? I'm comfortable just with this, shirt and a jacket. Well, and it could be jeans. That's how I'm comfortable. I don't care if anyone else likes it or not. It makes me happy and I feel better. I feel more confident and I keep going forward, and it lets me take other challenges. If James Green was here right now, he'd acknowledge that I can take risks now. you know, I can look at them a lot better and move forward, learning from these other things and shutting off that inner voice, because what was holding me back wasn't knowledge or the lack of knowledge or anything else. It was just my inner voice letting that doubt creep in. And when I used to drink years and years ago, not terribly or anything, but when I used to drink, sometimes it changes your thinking as well, and you start going, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I don't do that then, and you let other people influence you as well who are at the bar with you, and it just starts compounding. And after a while, I realized, oh, the only thing holding me back is me. No one else. I can listen to everyone else. I don't have to pay attention to it or accept what they're saying. It's just, or do what they're saying. It's me. And it's made all the difference through the years. And now I've already said it before. I'm sitting here talking with you, sharing experiences. I had the same experience with when my dad passed. I was in charge, as the oldest son. I had to take care of everything. It was rough because his ashes were sitting in my house for 9 months before I could take him and place him in the graveyard where my nan and granddad and a big chunk of his family is back in England. And that was a rough period getting through that, because I was reminded every day, I would see them. There's my dad. And to me, he's not resting in peace, but I had it in my head. Everyone will feel better at this point. Work towards this. Don't let anything else happen or get in the way. That's the goal. Rest. Dad will rest in peace when he's beside Nan. And it got through it, and but the entire time, even before that and other situations, like I said, it was me. I was letting my own self-doubt and lack of confidence, which then just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger over time. If you start listening to it, it really becomes a hindrance. And it doesn't matter what other people say, even if they're all encouraging you to do something. You've got it in your head, no, and you become the biggest obstacle to yourself.
Right. And one of my biggest obstacles, and I still struggle with it, is allowing myself the grace to fail. I'm a huge fan of continuous improvement. The idea of just because we've done it a certain way doesn't mean that's the way we're going to continue to do it or need to do that. And part of the way to get to that continuous improvement, especially when we're looking at ourselves, is to allow for failure. In being a parent and things like that, it's another struggle I've had is allowing my children to fail. I want to be there to help them and to, share in those lessons learned that I've been there, but they need their own lessons learned, not moms or dads. They need to fail on their own, just
Yep.
like I need to fail on my own. And when I put myself up on that stage at DRJ, either I was going to go into old bad habits, maybe a stutter will develop, or, super sweaty, nervous, unclear thinking. So be it, because that was the venue that would, be okay to fail in. Not pretty, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Or different things that I do. People may listen to this and go, "Man, that guy failed hard." Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I failed along the way and I learned a lot. I even failed in, managing my dad's care. That was something I wasn't ready for, still not ready for, but here we are. It happened and did the best that we could. And, I did a postmortem on all the notes and all the conversations we had. I understand where our gaps are and I know what to do now better going forward. But in our journey, failure is so critical to our success.
Yeah. It reminds me of a song. My favorite band is a band called Marillion, and they have a song years ago called Rich. And there's a line in it that as soon as I heard it, it sticks with me almost every single day I hear it. Failure isn't about falling down. Failure is staying down. If you get back up, you didn't fail. If you stay
Right.
down, you did fail. You know,
Right. And for sure, I refuse to accept these personal failures. I look at those as opportunities to improve myself, to learn those hard lessons learned, to not repeat those failures of the past because they're in the past, but and it enables my future growth. And it's hard. It's hard to get comfortable with that. It's can be embarrassing depending on the failure. It can hit your ego. It can just kind of hit you in all the feels. But just know that we're human. This happens. Embrace it and then do something with it. Just like I say in resilience, I hate to let a good incident go to waste. Same with a personal failure. I hate to let it go to waste because then the lesson isn't learned and the chance for improvement passes. So embrace that suck of admitting that you failed, but do it spectacularly in a way that you'll just grow and improve from it.
yeah. I think over time, sometimes it gets harder for people to accept that. Early in their career, they may be able to accept failure, but if they're suddenly a CEO, suddenly they find it difficult because people are hopefully looking up to them and admiring them, and they're now afraid to fail or afraid to admit they have failed at something. And no, that accepting those failures is how you grew to get where you are. So why would you stop doing that?
Right. And, in business, that's something that you have to work with your direct leadership around to understand of what they view for failures, how they're going to support you through that. Professional failures are definitely different from personal failures, though outcomes can be similar. So
Mhm.
in your professional life, work with your leadership to understand what failure looks like and what you can do about that to grow. Are you more of an agile mindset, that continuous improvement? Or is it more of, failure is a negative, like a resume generating event or things like
Yeah,
that? And, bad things happen. It's what we do about it that really matters. So we're going to fail in professional life. We're going to fail in personal life. Get used to it. Sometimes
yeah,
it'll be a resume generating event. As I led into about my voluntary and involuntary, departures from a career, ending a career. It happens.
yeah,
Embrace it for what it is, even though it may not be clear at that moment. In the long run, it will work out. And who would have thunk 20 some years ago, entering into photography, that I would be a business resilience professional? It's just like, wait, what?
yeah. I think
How
that
does that
sometimes
happen?
too. How'd I get here?
Right? I wonder that every day.
I have that same feeling. It reminds me of about the late Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, who said, just embrace adversity. You'll learn so much more from it than all the good times.
Yep.
So,
And no matter what, it's happening.
yeah,
You're going to have to deal with it. Either deal with it in a growth mindset or deal with it with your inner critic. Which one do you think is going to set you up for success?
exactly. Yeah. On that note, we've come to the end of our third segment, talking about personal resilience with Jason Haas. We have lots more. This is just day one of Business Continuity Awareness Week and Resilience, and we will be back. Oh, I guess in a couple of days, we're recording another episode, aren't we, Jason?
Yes, we are. Looking forward to that one too.
And it's a part 2 of personal resilience. Looking forward to that one once again, Jason, and everyone watching and listening. Stay prepared, everybody. If you liked that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave me a message and let me know your thoughts. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.